Hello, welcome to Negronis with Nord, episode 53. We're gonna do a shorter one today, but I wanted to briefly touch on, again, the looming potential TikTok ban. What does it mean? How should you react? What would that look like? Let's just go through some basics. So even today, I saw the CEO of TikTok came out, made a video saying that, there were 150 million Americans on TikTok. They would no longer be able to use TikTok if this ban happened. And he is encouraging users to go to their politicians, local congressmen, senators, the president, whoever they could find, go to their pages, comment on their feeds, tell them what they love about TikTok, ask them not to ban it. So that's an interesting piece of chess. They're worried enough that they're responding. This is generally a pretty secretive company. This guy does not actually come out and speak all that often. Encouraging users to go on politicians' pages and ask them not to do it means it is still very much a real thing. Let's start with how likely do we think this is? Somebody in the office asked me this week. America has never fully banned an app. This would be an enormous step. I still think a full ban where you can't use TikTok is pretty unlikely. One, they are going to either force them to sell it or ban it. Ultimately, I think TikTok in the US makes $13 billion a year. Unlikely that ByteDance is going to be willing to just give that up in hopes that one day somebody turns things back on. There are plenty of companies in the US that would be willing to buy TikTok and that could theoretically afford it. There are companies that could buy it. There are companies that would absolutely want to purchase it. If ByteDance believes this is going to happen, it is unlikely in my mind that they will play chicken with the US government. Maybe more likely in that case that they would sell it. Now, if they do move into shutting down, what does that mean to ban the app, right? There's a few ways this could happen. One is it's banned from the App Store. No more updates. Nobody else can download it. Over time, the experience deteriorates because they cannot push updates to the app and no new users can sign on, but you can still use TikTok. You can still go to the website and post TikToks from there. You can still probably go to the website and download or sign up for an account for TikTok. You can still consume and engage with content on the web. So in the unlikely scenario that there is a ban, I would say that is the most likely way it would play out, that it would just be banned from the App Store, no new downloads. That is what they were proposing when the Trump administration was pursuing this years ago. Less likely is a full server level ban. You cannot visit TikTok.com. You cannot open the app. You can obviously not download the app. It is completely inoperable, gone. That is what the Chinese government does to many American apps. That is what India has recently done to TikTok and other apps. It is not unprecedented. I think there are some people that say, well, China is banning the use of Google, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Not only that, but then completely copying them, taking the IP and rolling it out in their countries, not letting those companies operate in China. So why should we let a Chinese-owned, operated, controlled organization like TikTok operate in the US completely freely? Again, that gets into kind of political stagecraft and sword fighting and harder edge diplomacy there. So unlikely that is going to happen, but it would be unprecedented in the US, but not unprecedented in other countries. If TikTok was banned in either capacity, I think we could expect a huge boost in Instagram's usage, engagement, signups. People will still want to publish short form video. They will still want to consume short form video. We will see a lot of startups spin up trying to just remake TikTok. There are already, I'm sure, hundreds of those that exist today. I'm sure there are people who are building clones right now on the off chance that TikTok does fail, that they can just roll that out in some capacity. Obviously, these networks only work because of communities. TikTok was Musical.ly before. It has been around for a long time. It takes a long time to build up a community vibrant enough where, you know, there is constantly new content and interesting things happening. Look at what happened on like Truth Social, Trump's Twitter, or Mastodon, which is like a alternative to Twitter, right? These networks, they can't get off the ground because they don't have enough users, right? And if you don't log in and get that serotonin hit and get new content, and you pull down on the refresh and there's new content, and you pull down and there's new content, and you pull down and there's new content, it pulls you in, right? And there's always something and always something interesting, then it doesn't work. And it takes years of growth to get to that level. Again, TikTok 2 years ago was a much different place than it is today. It'll be a much different place in 2 years if it's still around. So you will see power consolidating around Facebook less than you'll see a new social network pop up and take TikTok's place. What should you do as a creator? As we said last week, if you're a TikTok creator and you do not have an Instagram and you don't have an Instagram following, I think that that's pretty naive and generally not strategically sound. So you should be investing in Instagram, cross-promoting, posting, getting reels out there, trying to build a following. It is harder to build a following on Instagram, but, you know, maybe even start explicitly talking to your TikTok followers and saying, hey, we don't know what's gonna happen here. I would love if y'all could follow me on TikTok in case there's a day where you literally lose access to all of those followers and you will never be able to speak to them again. Better to start talking to them now and saying, I'm also on Instagram, would love if you followed me there. TikTok's still gonna be my main platform, but in case of a shutdown, this is where you can find me. Another thing to consider, and something that we are talking about, is what happens if you're making money off of this stuff. What will happen to TikTok creators is probably that those contracts will be null and void. The platform doesn't exist. And even in the scenario where they ban it from the App Store, but you can still use it, I would expect a lot of brands to back out of that and to move their money to Instagram. Another reason, if you can, to try and start to build up an Instagram following. But ultimately, if TikTok is your main revenue source and you don't have a following somewhere else, or your following is much smaller on other platforms, there's really no good thing to tell you here. There's nothing you can do if you get caught up in a geopolitical fight between China and the US around privacy and data privacy and cybersecurity and hacking and surveillance and everything that this is about, which is really not TikTok at all. But you probably will be screwed. It's worth waving the flag a little bit right now. Again, in my estimation, you know, I said at the beginning of the year it's a 50-50 chance that TikTok got banned. I still feel it's about 50-50. I actually think that right now the US government is going through a lot of things much more important than banning TikTok or not. Politicians are going to be distracted. There's a chance this just kind of gets forgotten, right? As people worry about what's going on in the banking system and in the economy, if Trump gets arrested, you know, there are a number of things happening that might just supersede this, and people might feel like, you know what, this is not a fight that we want to pick right now. In that way, I think given some of what's going on in the world today, I feel that it's less likely that this will get banned, because I just think people will run out of energy to keep fighting for this. If it does get banned, I'd say less than 10% chance that it's a full server level, it's blocked. I'd say, you know, 40% chance then, not 40, I'd say then like there's a 20 or 30% chance they ban it from the App Store, and then 60 to 70% chance they try and force a sale to a US-owned corporation, and nothing changes for you other than the fact that ByteDance will say the algorithm is proprietary, they are not selling it, and the thing that makes TikTok so great, which is their algorithm, may not be sold along with the rest of the platform, and then you would see your experience on TikTok changing dramatically. So those are a number of things that could happen. Again, for influencers, I would look at your contracts, make sure you have a kill fee in there. Kill fee meaning if they cancel the contract, you get some of the money. Generally, you are going to get paid for things that you have created but not posted. Sometimes you can negotiate a partial payment for things in the future, since you have maybe given up other deals to take this one. But look at your kill fees and look at what's in there. If you have a Instagram following that is similar, or if the views that you're getting on Instagram are similar to TikTok, try to even write into the contract that, you know, in case of TikTok ban, all deliverables move to Instagram and the contract continues as signed and agreed upon. Start thinking about these things, start thinking about ways to protect yourself, and absolutely diversify your following, get it onto other platforms, and give yourself more than a single point of failure as discussed last week. As always, feel free to ask any questions, like, subscribe. We will keep making these videos. Have a restful rest of the day. Hopefully next week we can talk about things that are not so scary. Our question of the day today was, do you have a cringy moment that keeps you up at night? And I'm not too embarrassed over much of what I've done. You know, it all leads to a good place. Yeah, was my haircut in college pretty bad? Yes, it was horrible, like many people. I had the swoopy over the face thing, but it led to other things, and those things were lovely. And so, you know, I can't hate on the embarrassing versions of my old self.
On the Bieber swoop.
Exactly. Well, it's a little better than the Bieber swoop, but it was still pretty